So I'm setting off for the Routeburn Track next weekend. On Saturday I'm driving down south, down to Fiordland, to Tiana, and I thought I'd have a look at the food that I'm taking with me on this tramp of the Routeburn. And so basically I'm walking it over 4 days. I'm staying in 3 huts on the way, so I'm staying in Routeburn Flat, Routeburn Falls and Lake Mackenzie huts. So what I basically have is 24-hour rations for the 4 days. So we've got day 1, day 2, day 3. We've got some emergency food, snacks for the first day, spare soups that I carry with me for lunches, and crackers that I'm going to have with my meals. Kaituna Reserve once again. I pack my food in a 24-hour ration. It has all of the food that I need for 24 hours in there. And so you've got breakfast and dinner. Lunches tend to be crackers with salami, cheese, or tuna fish, pate, something like that. But I'll explain those as I go. What I'll basically do is I'll break these all down individually, and I'll show you what I'm taking on each individual day, just to give you an idea of the kind of stuff that I take. What I'm looking for is like a good spread of carbs, proteins, fats, sugars to keep me going, and you know, a little bit of variety in the meals, and so like I'm using some cooked meals, and I'm using some freeze-dried meals on this trip. So I'll break these down individually and show you what I'm taking. There's a storm blowing in this afternoon, so you might hear a bit of wind noise in the background, but I'll do my best. So what we basically have is we've got 3 days worth of rations, so 1, 2, 3 across the top there, and then we have some emergency rations. I have a bag of snacks for the first day, individual soups for lunches, and you know, if it's cold and wet, crackers I'm going to be taking, and 2 water bottles, so that's 2 litres of water I carry most times, and just fill up from streams, rivers and the huts as I go. On this trip I'm taking packets of tuna fish for lunch, and I'm going to get some cheese as well, so it'll be Baby Bell cheeses. I'm taking crackers this time, so I kind of rotate. Sometimes I take crackers or bread, or I'll take wraps. All 3 of them, and you know, you just have some stuff on top of it, so salami, tuna fish, pate, cheese. These are the ones I'm taking on this tramp. I haven't had these ones before, but I've tried some and they're actually really nice. Yeah, so we'll see what those are like. Normally what I take are Arnott sesame meal. That's my favourite kind of cracker because it's nice and salty. When I go tramping, I've taken to carrying like a selection of cuppa soups, and so I have those on cold days when I'm tramping or when I get to the hut, and it's also like some emergency food, and so I've got 5 different packets in there for this trip. Just a variety of flavours. Continental ones are good, Maggi ones are good, doesn't really matter. Everyone knows what a cup of soup's like. Just adds a bit of taste and a few more calories to your diet. And yeah, they're really nice on a cold, wet day. So that's a bag of snacks that I'm taking with me for the first day. First day short from Routeburn Shelter to Routeburn Flats Hut, 1.5 to 2 hours. And so I'll just have a few snacks on the way. I'm going to show you later a selection of different snacks that I take on these trips. This is a selection of snacks that I've taken with me in the past. So we've got various different bars, LCMs, Nature's Valley, muesli bars. I'll take all those. Raisins are my favourite snack. I sometimes take those with me, but they're a wee bit heavy. I like these things I found in Asian food markets. They're like peanut with toffee around them, really nice. And then I'll take different kinds of cured meat, beef sticks, steak bars, jerky. Yeah, so I mean that's just a few of the items that I take. and I mix it up, you know, like you could see I had the snacks in with some of those meals, packets and nuts. Sometimes I take olives, yeah. And you know, you're looking for like maybe 2 to 3 snacks per day. You don't want to go overboard. Even if you just take a whole packet of muesli bars, 2 muesli bars per day, that's fine. Just keeps you going in between your meals. When you go tramping in New Zealand, the weather can be very changeable, and you'll often find the infrastructure's not all that great, like bugger all bridges and stuff like that, and so you always have to take some emergency food with you when you're going for more than a day. You don't want to take too much. You just want like maybe something for the dinner, maybe some oat packs like I've got there. I'll break that down and show you the contents in a minute. So these are my emergency rations. So a small freeze-dried meal, 2 packets of oatmeal, a simmer soup pack, and a packet of Vitafresh. The freeze-dried meal is tasty chicken mash. So bits of chicken, mashed potatoes, cheese, really nice. Just some oats for my breakfast, and then my lunch would be the simmer soup if I needed it, and crackers and any meat or cheese or anything like that I had left over. So it's not a complete ration. What it is it's just enough to keep you going for an extra day, because it's really miserable being in a hut with no food. I was in the army for 5 years, and I got used in that time to using ration packs, and so a ration pack, military ration pack, has all the food that you need for 24 hours on them, and so that's how I pack my food up for tramping trips. So these individual bags have everything I need for 24 hours. So there's my ration for the first day. So what we have is we've got a backcountry yogurt and muesli for the next morning. For dinner that night I'm having flavoured couscous with tuna fish and some veggies. The veggies aren't here yet, so it'll be freeze-dried veggies, onions, mixed veg, beans, something like that. I have a Jack Link's beef stick that I have for breakfast. That's just to add some protein to my breakfast meals. Chocolate bar to have at night time, and then we have some snacks for the next day, and so in that pack I've got a muesli bar, a snack, and a bag of mixed nuts. I've got a chucks cloth and a green scrubbing cloth for cleaning my cutlery and pots, a small can of pate for lunch on that second day, an accessory pack, and I'll break that down and show you what's in it, and then a simmer soup as well. And so what I do is I pack the breakfast and lunches for the next day, or rather the snacks for the next day, into the day one pack, and then in the morning when I'm packing my gear up, it's easy to just shove it into the top of my pack, ready to go for the day. I'm using these tuna packets for lunches on the other days of the track. So they're just some Sea Lord flavoured tuna packets, and I've got peri peri tuna, lemon and ginger, and I think I've got a Tahitian one as well, Tahitian and coconut. Yeah. I like to take these simmer soups with me when I go tramping, and I always have those about an hour before dinner, just extra calories for the day. So my 24-hour rations are wrapped in a large Ziploc bag, and those have a secondary role as rubbish bags as well. Each of those ration packs has got a accessories pack in there, and it always has the same items in it. So what they have in them is some kind of powdered fruit drink, so Raro, Vitafresh, whatever one I tend to take. It's got a 3-in-1 coffee, in this case I've got Nescafe, Aquatabs, so I put a minimum of 6 Aquatabs for 6 litres of water per day. We've got 4 sticks of sugar for making teas, salt and pepper sachets, and a freezer bag. And so I use the freezer bag for sticking my cutlery in, so it doesn't have to rest on the nasty dirty benches in the huts. And then all of it gets packed into a sandwich size snack bag and a Ziploc bag, and then that goes into the main ration. There's my ration pack for day 2, and it's just got a very similar mix of items in it, and I'll just go through and look at them individually. For the second day I've got a backcountry freeze-dried meal, so roast lamb and vegetables. For breakfast the next morning I have instant oats, and that will have some jerky and some parmesan cheese added to it. I have a chicken Thai noodle simmer soup to have before dinner. My chocolate bar and my beef stick, so the beef stick goes with breakfast. Snacks for that day I've got a list snack, a Jack Link's steak bar, another muesli bar, chucks cloth for drying my pots and pans and stuff, and the accessory bag, which I'll break down and show you in a minute. So for subsequent days I don't pack the snacks into a separate bag, because I have a bag that I carry in the top of my pack, and I just put those in at the start of the day, and I just reuse it over multiple days. I'm just trying to save on plastic waste. I found a place in Auckland that sells American food, and they have those instant oat packets, instant grits. And so you know, you add things to them to make the flavour better, so cheese, meat, you can put herbs in there. I like them. Like, some people probably wouldn't like that very much, but it just suits my taste. And so the crackers I'm taking, I'll have somewhere between 4 and 6 crackers per day to have for lunch. Depends how many crackers there are in the pack when I break it down and have a look and see how many there are, and then I just divide it by the number of days. That's my ration pack for day 3, similar to the previous 2, and so what we have is a backcountry beef stroganoff. That's one of my favourite backcountry meals. I have some Uncle Toby's instant oats for breakfast, and as always a beef stick to go with it for extra protein. My chocolate, that's another simmer soup. This one is chicken and corn. My accessory bag, tuna fish for lunch on day 4, chucks cloth, and the snacks for that day. So I've got a wee bag of nuts, a snack, and a Damascus French nougat bar. I really love those things, yeah. And then obviously crackers to go with the tuna fish for lunch. Instant oats is the thing I eat for breakfast probably 80% of the time. Sometimes I take freeze-dried meals, or those grits or polenta is another thing I take. But you know, I just put a couple of packets into a plastic bag and lead it out of that bag. And I add sugar and milk powder and some dried fruit to it. Hydration is very important, so you have to make sure that you're getting enough water. I carry 2 water bottles with me with 2 litres of water, and fill up as and when I can. I've been using these old Just Juice bottles for nearly 10 years now. Really good idea. That's just what works for me. Those are my rations for the Routeburn Track. You're looking at a range of weight between say 600 to 700 grams per day. All up, all of this food is 2.4 kgs. It's not too bad. Some of them are lighter, like the emergency food, that's just under 400 grams. The snacks, all 3 snacks in there, that's about 100 grams. Yeah, and so you're looking at somewhere between 2,400 to 3,000 calories per day, which is what you basically need to keep you going when you're tramping. You know, I've been using the same kind of system for the whole last 10 years. Works pretty well for me, but like I say, some people go much more pared down than this. They'll just take half a dozen bags of freeze dry, and that's all they'll have, and like a box of muesli bars. You just have to do what suits you. Hopefully that's useful to you, gives you a bit of an idea of the stuff I take when I go tramping. This is just for this trip. I take a variety of other items. Yes, so if this is something that might be useful to you, go for it. This is quite elaborate. Most people go much less elaborate than this, but this works for me, so I just use the system.